mushroom picking. It's something that a lot of folks do on Vancouver Island, spending autumn days in the woods with a knife and a bucket and sometimes selling their finds. But it's not often thought of as agriculture. Yet as food harvesting, that's exactly what it is. And with the presentation of a $50,000 check to fund an agroforest pilot program, the federal and provincial governments are recognizing it.
We're actually looking at the forest for the trees, not for what's under the trees. And there's some opportunities for sustainable agriculture, employment opportunities, which is exactly what the province of British Columbia and the government of Canada want to encourage.
Or the abundance of the species. That's one of the profiles.
The $50,000 grant was awarded to First Nation Wildcrafters BC, a family-owned business located on the Tishat Reserve in the Alberni Valley, a business that has broken ground in their treatment of non-timber resources.
We were the first ones in BC to implement the good agricultural collection practices for wild foods. And so operationally, we had that experience of having a food safety system in place. We developed that model because we wanted something that worked realistically within the operational and legal frameworks that we're operating in. And what we've been trying to do is legitimize this sector to get it to be seen as a professional forest practice, which it is, but also a top-tier agricultural market. It's two of them.
And as much as the provincial and federal governments are recognizing agroforestry as an economic opportunity, it's also an opportunity for traditional values and practices to take their place in a very modern business world.
I see this business of ours as being a vehicle to help to create what's needed for us to go into partnerships and agreements with other agencies and individuals to help us move towards that objective of sustainable harvesting and encouraging growth.
We have these traditional sectors which have been around for many, many generations, long before Europeans came to this territory. And it's so important that we celebrate it, but we also encourage that kind of opportunity and growth. We can't just look at one factor of the forest industry. You know what? We need to look at multidimensional opportunities. And yes, we have forestry where we actually chop down trees and we export and have value added that way. But there's a lot of opportunities, whether it's mushroom picking, berry picking. These are opportunities for First Nations and communities to actually do very well and actually create employment and also practice some traditional cultural activity.
We'll never replace that economy of mushrooms, But I do think that when we look at the forest, particularly this next generation of forest, if we go into it with the intent of managing it for these other values, whether they're just local food security or traditional foods or economics, then we can do better at that. And that's what we're trying to do, is just improve, not replace something.
The agroforestry pilot program is aimed at expanding and developing the forest food industry and will begin by mapping the local forests and identifying areas where work can be done. For more information, visit www.firstnationwildcrafters.com. In Port Alberni, for Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.